So if you go back in history and you know your London history, Pudding Lane will go bang, 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 bang. Yes, it was the start of the Great Fire of London in 1666, which decimated so much of the city of London. And then along came Sir Christopher Wren. But here's the original site where the Bakers was, and as a monument to it, we have this, the monument. So this monument stands at 202 feet, 62 metres in height, and it's exactly 202 feet west of the spot in Pudding Lane where the Great Fire started, back on the 2nd of September 1666. The monument was constructed between 1671 and 1677, and it was built on the site where St Margaret, New Fish Street, which was the first church to be destroyed by the Great Fire, stood. So as you can see, right near the top you have an amazing viewing platform, which years ago you would have seen all over London because nothing was built up around it. Now it's, well, you can just about see the top, and you can see the sort of the fire and the golden part of the top over different parts of London, but you can still get a fairly good view from the top. The only issue is you've got to climb the 311 steps to get to the top. So we're going to take you to the top. Yes, slightly out of breath, but we're going to get you there and give you the views of London. And these are what the steps look like. Now, it's worth remembering, yes, there's nice little seat areas and you can get some windows out across as well. And there's lots of these spaces as you go through. But what you've got to remember as you're going up these stairs is that you're going up one way and people that are coming down are going the other. Plus, also, as you get nearer the top, it sort of narrows as well, and you just keep going round and round and round till you get to the very top. So, if you haven't got a head for heights, this is probably not the attraction for you. But if you've got a head for heights, and then you fancy seeing some great views across London, this is definitely a place you want to come to. Oh, by the way, there's the added bonus. Once you've been to the top and you come back down again, they give you a free certificate, showing that you made it to the top of the monument. Now what's great about this feature is, well, when people start, they start very, very quickly and then slow down quite quick as well when they realise they're only part of the way there. And there you go, if you look out, unfortunately it doesn't quite focus, there you go, you can see down parts of London through the narrow stone here. So let's tell you a little bit about the monument. So the monument itself is comprised of a Doric column which is built out of Portland stone, and on the top of it you've got the gilded urn fire. That's the golden bit that you can see from the top of places like the Sky Garden, the Shard, Horizon 22 or any other tall buildings. You can even see it from the top of St Paul's Cathedral as well, which we featured in previous videos. Now its height marks the exact distance from the site of the shop of Thomas Fernier, who was the King's Baker, where the blades began. Now you'll see when we get to the very top that there's a mesh cage which is around the viewing platform, and that's because it was added in the mid-19th century to prevent people jumping to the ground, and that was after 6 people died by suicide there between 1788 and 1842. At the bottom of the column there are inscriptions on 3 sides. Now the one on the south side describes the action taken by King Charles II following the fire. The inscription on the east side describes how the monument was started and brought to perfection, and under Wychmere's inscriptions on the north side describe how the fire started, how much damage it caused, and how it was eventually extinguished. Now this is interesting because this links in with the Golden Boy of Pye Corner, which is over in Smithfield, which we've had in a previous video, and I'll put a link to that in the top right hand corner. But that's where the Great Fire of London was eventually brought under control. And in that, and in here, I'm going to mention the same thing, because what was interesting is on the east side, the text originally falsely blamed Roman Catholics for the fire. Burning of this Protestant city began and carried out by the treachery and malice of the populist faction. The words were chiselled out which blamed the Catholics back in 1830. So you need to picture the scene when this was actually built, because 1666 everything was burnt to a crisp, and then they had the first Rebuilding Act passed through Parliament in 1669 that stipulated that, the better to preserve the memory of this dreadful visitation, a column of either brass or stone should be set up on Fish Street Hill, or near the site of the bakery where the fire began. So you've got all these priorities going on, and they decide they've got to build a monument as quick as possible so people don't forget. I'll leave you to ponder on that one. But anyway, Christopher Wren at the time was Surveyor General of the King's Works and was asked to submit a design. Robert Hooke, who was then acting as an architect for Wren, developed the design. Now the two of them worked together, but it's not known how much of a collaboration took place between Hooke and Wren, but Hooke's drawings of the possible designs for the columns still exist, with Wren's signature on them, indicating his approval of the drawings, rather than the authorship. And that, rather neatly, with a little bit of history, brings us right to the very top. There you go, press that for emergency for staff assistance. Yep, they've got to come running up at 311 steps as well. But when you get to the top, you've got the cage with this mesh on, but once you look through the mesh, you get some fantastic views across London. Yes, because we're right by the Thames, and there you can see Tower Bridge, and over slightly to the left you can also see the Tower of London, the top of the White Tower. Now you get fantastic views, but as you can see it's slightly windy, hence the camera shaking. So before anyone puts any comments, yes, I know it's slightly shaking, but it was very, very windy and it's quite exposed when you get up here. Now you'll also notice as well, there's hardly any other people around when I came here. And the reason for that is I came just before closing time. Actually, 3/4 of an hour before closing time, because if you leave it any later than that, they don't let you in. Then if you look to the south, you've got the Shard. You've also got right in front of you as well, everything over in South London. And we'll come back to this view in just one second because there's an important church right in front of us, but I'll tell you a bit more about that in a little bit later. But let's swing round and see to the other way, and then we're going to be looking over the City of London. Here you get a great view round down to the Thames, round to Waterloo Bridge. You can't quite see the Houses of Parliament because they're stuck behind those buildings there, but you can just about see the London Eye as well. But that's Waterloo Bridge off there in the distance. Can you see the London Eye just on the left-hand side there? You can just see the top of it over the building. And then as you swing round, there you go, you've got the BT Tower, and you've also got the dome, of course, the famous dome of Sir Christopher Wren. It is, of course, St Paul's Cathedral. And then as we swing round, you've got the view down to Bank, which is where the Bank of England is. So you've got all of those buildings there. And then you go round and you can see all of the other buildings. There you go. You've got the Gherkin in the middle there, the cheese grater. And then, of course, that big building on the right, which you'll see even more of in just one second, is, of course, the Sky Garden. And if you're up in the Sky Garden on the 35th floor, you look right down on the monument. You'll see it. It'll be that golden urn of fire that you can see from the top there. So as we swing round from the Sky Garden, the buildings you can see off in the distance there are those of Canary Wharf. And then we're going to zoom in and you can see a church tower right in front of us. Again, designed by Sir Christopher Wren. And this is where St Dunstan's in the East is, which is the garden that we featured many a time on this channel, which is sort of got bombed in World War II and left to reclaim it by nature. Really hope you're enjoying this video, and if you're thinking of coming up here, do make sure you're fit because you've got those 311 steps to do up and down as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do! We've got so many more videos to bring you, and one heck of a big back catalogue as well. So if you're coming to London, you definitely want to subscribe because we can help you and show you the right places to come and see when you're here visiting. Here, as we look out over the River Thames, we're looking towards the area where the Golden Hind is. That's another video that we featured previously, showing that amazing ship, and it's the wharf around that area there that is just across. Now, the tower right in front of us, that is the church which once you had to go through to get over the old London Bridge. So London Bridge actually ran here before, which is some 100 metres downriver from where it is now. So there you go, we've got a piece of history here which is some 350 years old, commemorating the Great Fire of London. Have you been up here? If so, let us know in the comments down below. Also, do you fancy doing the 311 steps? Do let us know in the comments. And there you go, you can see the engraving on one of the sides down the bottom there. Now, if you like great views of London, then I've put a link to our video of Horizon 22, which is the new viewing platform taller than the Shard's viewing platform, and it's completely free.